Welcome back to the Southwest ORV YouTube channel. If you've been watching the channel for a while or for much time at all, you know that I'm enjoying this 2018 Honda Pioneer 500 very much. It's a great machine. However, I have identified what I consider to be 5 legitimate gripes with the Honda Pioneer 500. And I list those for you now in order. My largest gripe is engine noise. And I don't mind exhaust. I think the engine sounds nice, from the back, the exhaust. However, the way this machine is designed, here in the front, as a driver or passenger, you get a lot of head and valve train noise that transmits to the cabin. And it's loud enough and noticeable enough that it sets off that little alarm in my gear head sometimes that says, is something wrong? Are these valves out of adjustment? Anyway, and it's pretty constant. I notice it anytime I get into the higher RPMs, in 5th gear, say above 30 miles an hour, that harsh valve train noise I start hearing it. And I really wish that was gone. I may try something called the trigger shield to get rid of that, to mitigate that noise. Number 2 is rear differential noise. The rear differential in this machine is very loud. In my mind, in my opinion, excessively loud. And it's like gear, it's not just whine, it's whine and chatter, a lot of gear chatter. And I'm just assuming that there's nothing wrong with it. I keep going, nothing's broken, it's never left me stranded. I've got nearly 1,200 miles on the machine now. And so I just try to ignore it, but it's kind of hard to ignore. It sounds like something is wrong. So I keep going. Third item, stiff ride. The Honda Pioneer 500 is not known for its smooth ride, let's call it. And that's largely because there's very little suspension travel. And it puzzles me a little bit because there are other machines on the market, especially say Polarises, that offer much more, nearly double the suspension travel within the same width restriction, those same 50 inches. And so I think that's the biggest factor is that limited suspension travel. Something I've done to mitigate that a little bit and enhance the bump absorption on the trail is I've set on the preload on all 4 corners, the shocks to the lightest, softest setting, and then I've installed these 26-inch Sun F Power 2 tires, and I run them at 7 PSI. And those 2 items made a big difference in the ride quality. But I still believe it could be better. I know some folks put some Elka shocks on and other things. I haven't gone that far yet. It's quite a bit of money, but I may. The next item is the position of the steering wheel. I sincerely wish that Honda would give us even 2 positions for this steering wheel, an adjustment, a high and a low, but it's just stuck right here, and it's not awful, but I notice it constantly, and it feels a little bus-like. It's way up there. It would just be so much more comfortable to me if I could bring it down an inch or 2. So that's one thing that I really wish Honda would address or allow. The last thing is storage, interior storage for, say, documents. Here in Arizona, it's very common and normal and easy to street legal your side-by-side. This one is street legal. I drive it on the street all the time. I drove it on the street today. And Honda gives you nothing, 0 interior storage for documents. You can get an aftermarket, or it's not aftermarket, a Honda genuine storage tub that goes under the driver's seat. I haven't done that. But I wish they provided a factory, say, glove box right here. There's an aftermarket glove box. For example, the Chug box that's available, you can cut out and stick here. And I just wish Honda had made something a little easier in that way. There's room for it. And then, I know this is a 5 things I hate video. However, I'll add a 6th one. In my opinion, this machine ought to have, from the factory, a front diff lock. There's such a demand, an appetite for that there's a whole aftermarket for it now, with multiple companies providing front diff lock or mechanical lockers for these Pioneer 500s. And it's got basically the same engine and transmission as a Honda Foreman or Foreman Rubicon. And those have a front diff lock, the ATVs. I just believe it would be simple and it would be very welcome to have that Honda tried and true push button front diff lock when you want it. Has that ever gotten me stuck? No, I've gotten everywhere I want to get to in this Honda Pioneer 500, but there have been many times when I could have made a climb on the first try instead of the second or third try had I had a front diff lock. And I know that would make a difference, and it would be a welcome enhancement to the Honda Pioneer 500. So I love the machine. There's my 5 things I hate about the Honda Pioneer 500 list. And, I'll reiterate one more time. Engine noise, especially valve train noise, rear differential noise, stiff ride, tilt column for steering, and interior storage are the main items.